Hello, welcome back to Statman Dave Clips. Today we're going to take a look at my dream signing for Manchester United, Frenkie de Jong. Let's just talk about it. If you are new around here, please hit that subscribe button. Of course, check out SofaScore. There's a link in the description below for an absolute banger of an app that we use entirely through this video. Go and check it out. Anyway, let's dive in. Frankie's probably the only player that could hold his hand up this season and say, I've done well this season for Barcelona. We take a look at his season stats. So far, averaging a 7.8 on SofaScore with a combination of controlling the play, completing passes at a 93% accuracy, winning tackles, making interceptions, but also completing dribbles. I think that's the really interesting side about Frenkie from a per 90 perspective, 3 dribbles per game. So I think it's an interesting one, and in terms of Frenkie, one of my favourite players in European football. If United had an unlimited budget and could sign one player in European football, it would be Frenkie de Jong. We take a look at his stats and his ability and his style of play. Very, very old school in a sense. Receiving deep, can carry through the lines, can play the penetrative passes. Just a perfect kind of fluid Dutch footballer. In terms of the where we're sort of coming from here. Taking a look at some of the news in and around Manchester at the moment. The MEN reporting that United need to take advantage of Barcelona to solve their midfield problems. Of course, the news that we're kind of looking at, Ronald Koeman, Barcelona being absolutely awful this season, being very, very poor. And this could be the perfect time for United to go, okay, we want to reinforce that midfield area. Want to get some quality in there. And I think the best player that you could get, if you're looking at DMs, Frenkie de Jong is there. Especially kind of looking from a double pivot perspective as well for United, going forward. Frankie's the type of player that would massively improve that midfield area, that midfield zone from a deep perspective. And I think in terms of the partners for Frenkie in that situation, one of the best kind of double pivots that we've seen in recent years was Lasse Schöne and Frenkie de Jong, 2 very, very creative midfielders. It allowed Ajax to attack in a certain style or in a certain way, but really open people up. One of the big things with Frenkie in terms of possession sort of situation is obviously his ability to carry out from the back and carry out into midfield and break lines that way. Draw pressure into him and simply slip past. Got very body feint, old school style. For me, one of the best dribbling midfielders in the world of football. And I think comparing that with, having a Paul Pogba in that team gives you a lot of creativity deep. And I think that's something that Man United can need to continue to work on is having that ability to play through lines, to slip tackles, to open people up with 1-2s. And that's kind of Frenkie's style. You could describe Frenkie as maybe as an old school sweeper in a sense of how he carries the ball out of the back from a deep position, how he carries it with great style. And that's definitely a level, averaging 3 dribbles per game. We saw that in the league this season. 12 out of 12 completed. But also looking at his defensive stats, Frenkie de Jong for Barcelona this season has won 7 out of his 8 tackles, with only Antoine Griezmann winning more for Barca this season. And I do feel that the player that obviously he's becoming at Barcelona, very much sitting in central midfield, as we can see there, number 21, but coming towards the ball, getting on the ball and making things happen. Kind of a bit of a dodgy heat map there. Let's take a look at his heat map and the position versus Real Sociedad. Can see there ahead of the number 7 in Antoine Griezmann, but playing that kind of higher role. For me, Frenkie does his best work getting on the ball and playing forward, getting into the final third. I think that with Frenkie as well is his ability to read the game that I think is so fresh that allows him to maybe not be as physical as certain players are required to play defensive midfield in the Premier League. That Frankie's more of a player that's going to read the game, is going to step in at the right time, but as well from a pressing perspective, super aggressive off the ball. And I think that's another part of development for Man United's game is when United have lost the ball in the final third, it's attempting to win it back as soon as possible. And I think Frankie's got a good ability at spotting the right moment to kind of jump out of formation. And obviously as a deep line playmaker, you can fit in with the likes of Fred, you can play in with Scott McTominay, that all would provide different parts of their game and different ideas. And, the other one as well is looking a bit further forward, maybe taking a look at Declan Rice and playing Declan Rice with Frenkie de Jong. That would very much work. And I think both of those two players have a very unique skill set. We talk about Frenkie de Jong and his dribbling numbers and how he carries through, but you look at someone like Declan Rice, and he has a similar dribbling style in a sense of, it's not that they don't look the same when they carry, but both are exceptional at carrying the ball. Frenkie is that old school style carrier, that kind of like classic 60s footballer or 70s footballer style, whereas Rice is maybe more of that power carrier, but still got a very, very good first touch. Obviously, we saw that against Leicester City in the Premier League. His assist was fantastic. Brilliant move inside the channel, and then pushing forward with it. Completed, of course, 2 of his 3 dribbles up against Leicester City. And I think that as a double pivot for United would be absolutely ridiculous. Declan Rice and Frenkie de Jong. And I think that interchange and the ability for one of them to go, one of them to hold position and really anchor that midfield could allow United to attack with more bodies, with more players. And the aim of the game is to kind of get the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo at the moment and allow him to play make him. Having him coming off the line to receive defeat, as well as Bruno with Frenkie, but also with Rice, it's just a recipe for success. It really is. But at the same time, United have got quality in midfield this season. They got McFred double pivot for the big games. Got Paul Pogba, Matic for those weaker games. Not too much problem, but Frenkie de Jong would be a dream signing for me. An absolute dream signing. And a player that obviously he's given so much to Ajax. He's given so much to Barcelona. And the big thing with Barca is just how poor they are at the moment. Currently sitting 7th in La Liga. Do you want to play your best, your best years at a team that the squad is just not quite up to standard at the moment? An aging Sergio Aguero, an out of form Ousmane Dembele, an unfit Ousmane Dembele, a Martin Braithwaite that's injured, a Luke de Jong that isn't a Barcelona player in a sense. That's the big decision point for Frank is, does he want to use his time now when he's probably going to be coming towards the peak of his career, in the next 5 years, playing with that? Obviously, that's an element there, with the likes of Pedri, knocking around. Obviously, Demir. There's a lot of young, talented players. Ansu Fati, super talented young player. So either do you want to continue the generation at Barcelona and be the focal point of that and eventually replace Sergio Busquets in there? It's a question for him. But for me, Man United would be an absolute dream signing over the summer. To get someone like Frenkie de Jong in there, in the team, in the midfield, would be absolutely tasty. So that's that, guys. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you are new around here, please hit that subscribe button and get into the comments below who is your dream signing for Manchester United. I'm Statman Dave on Statman Dave Clips. We'll see you guys later.